Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At-Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay-at-home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight. Got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet. Cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Hope you've had a great week. We have a guest with us today. We're just going to jump right into it, seeing as how she's in the same house as me. And there's really not a whole lot of introduction that has to be done because also she's been on the show many times, and most of our listeners have seen her run in on the Dad Lounge on either a Monday or a Thursday. We've got my beautiful wife, Corie, with us. Hi.
Yay!
Hello, everyone.
Insert applause noise.
I've
In
got
your
that
edit.
clip. I've got that clip. We could do that.
Hey, Corey, welcome to the show.
Hello, Danny. Hi, Brock.
Hey,
You don't say hi to
yeah,
him.
yeah.
I mean,
If he hasn't been
rolled
gone
over.
for at least 2 days, yeah.
She rolled over.
Really
no,
miss
he
you.
really
Morning to me.
hasn't. I haven't even kissed you good morning yet. I should do that at some point.
Okay, but don't tell Brock.
No, I won't. I
Well-
won't, Danny.
well played, sir. Well played. You made her blush.
If
She's-
if you happen to kiss me, you definitely wouldn't tell
Walked
anybody.
into that
That's
one.
not a story. You'd be like, oh God, I kissed Danny. I don't know. I was drunk. It was Christmas party. I don't know what happened. Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell Marnie.
His
Oh, my
tongue's like a
goodness.
cat. Does he brush his teeth? It's like,
Oh my gosh. People are gonna be like, "What did I tune into this
Mhm.
time?" My goodness.
It's early in the morning here in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. I've been
Uh-huh,
awake for
uh-huh.
maybe 30 minutes. I don't know. I really don't know how long I've been awake.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's a great
Well-
day, very lazy day.
We'll just jump right into all this. So, back last February, we had Corie on the show, and she was sharing about the beginning learnings of her just finding out about perimenopause and what was going on with her body. And I was explaining how I had come across some TikTok videos and things like that. And so lots of things have happened since then. And that's why we brought Corie back on the show, because she can update us all on what's going on. And hopefully, too, for any listeners out there who have spouses or partners who maybe they're going through the same things or have questions, answers, all that kind of stuff. Maybe we'll address some of them in this. And then maybe also, too, you'll learn some other future things that are coming up with that. So, based on that introduction, Corie, take it away and kind of tell us what's going on. And, we'll see if us guys have any questions for you along the way or even understand at all what's happening.
What it's like to
understand.
be a woman? Sure.
Sure.
So, gosh, it has been a year. Since February, I have been taking some supplements, using a wild yam cream, and following up with my doctor on a quarterly, every 6 to 8 months. And this is my non-functional medicine doctor. I've also done my yearly gynecological visit that every woman should do. Make sure that you're doing your pap smears, breast exams, normal, regular self-care, and checking to see that your body is functioning the way it should and is healthy overall. Just doing all the things that I need to do to take care of myself and be healthy for my family and present for all of the things that I'm supposed to be doing in life and want to do in life. So at my last checkup with my non-functional medicine doctor, we were talking about nuclear stuff earlier. Non-functional medicine doctor, we did go ahead and do some blood work, and I had a second round of testing done with the Dutch test. The Dutch test is where we did a urine sample over a 24-hour period, catching at intervals per the test instructions to see where my estrogen levels and other hormone levels were at. From the original, which was estrogen is off the charts, skyrocketing, and progesterone was through the ground 6 feet under,
Mhm.
was there, but not good. We discovered that the supplements and the things that I've been doing to level that out has been working.
Cool. Good.
The, yeah, the estrogen has come down, the progesterone has come up. Cortisol is still wonky as all get out, but uh, I've had a lot of life happen that has caused a lot of stress, and the cortisol not being where it should be is understandable.
Yeah,
Um,
children and husbands will do that to you. I
uh,
understand.
and
Yeah, and
working,
work and your just your physical self and just all the things that come with that and all the things that I imagine emotionally, mentally that you're still experiencing. Yeah,
absolutely.
that's it makes absolute sense. Your cortisol where it's at.
Also, did I tell you all that I turned 40
It's
back in
awesome.
Congrats.
April? So
Yeah, that's
I
great.
don't, I don't, I'm not afraid of 40. It feels good. It feels like I have just reached a new level. I'm at level 40 now, taking on
Hmm.
that gaming mentality. It's not an
Yep, you
age, it's a
leveled up.
level. Um, it's a
Get
good
to pick a
level to
new
be at.
feat.
Yes.
It's got to
Um,
deal with something on your body hurts for no reason, but you can pick one.
oh, snap, crackle, and pop this morning as I just
Yeah,
went to get out of bed. It,
just a word of advice because 40 is a pivot point.
mhm.
Stretch before and after you do anything, exercise of any kind. If you decide, hey, we're going to the jumping park, they go to
Mm,
the trampoline park, you're going to
no, there's
die.
no jumping.
Yeah. Good. Good. There should be. You should keep moving. You should get, and
Absolutely.
I will tell you from the oldest person here that stretching is incredibly important. I mean,
Yes.
just it's amazing. I'll get out and just do like a 10-minute thing in the morning, and I'm like, wow, I didn't realize how many things were like just cold taffy and weren't ready to move. So,
Hmm.
but it's nothing. You're the same person.
Yeah,
No
just a
change.
number.
Yeah.
Um, I have less ducks and frogs to give. Maybe that's a new thing. I have less patience for 20-year-olds. That's not new. It's
Yeah.
just
That's
shorter.
pretty standard. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Their brain's not fully formed. Just keep
no,
reminding yourself,
not
give them patience,
yep.
give them, yeah.
Yes.
I,
Let me rephrase. I have less patience for the 20-year-olds at work. And then I just shake my head and breathe and either walk away or uh, remind myself that I'm at work and can't say half the things that are running through my head.
yeah.
I like
And
my job.
soon, and soon it'll be your own children that are that age. And it'll be
Mm.
great. It's fantastic.
And then I will say the things that are running through my head because they will be my own children.
Because you can look at them and go, okay, look, you know that I love you. I love you with
Uh-huh.
all my heart. But you can't do that at work because people get all weird. Like,
No.
I don't know. Danny said he loved me. I think we should call HR. Yeah. So do it with your kids,
Yeah.
though. That works.
So some improvements that I've seen since being with you all last. I I am not a dragon anymore. I am I have moments, but I don't fly off the handle and have that very quick millisecond of emotions and swinging through rage to guilt to shame and uh, instantly crying and wanting to run away when I'm angry or
Hmm.
I'm not irrational anymore. The hormones have come back into order. The other thing that I am realizing is that I am much more calm and collected, and it is easier to get through my day. I have not more energy, but balanced energy and can spread it out to give it at work. And I feel like I do better at home. Brock, you can check me on that and call me out. Um,
That's
and
not going to happen.
he might. He should keep me truthful.
Nope. That's not. He's told me many times. It's not even that. What are you talking about? He didn't know. You're awesome.
You are covering for him so well, Danny.
Me? What? No,
Um,
I think we all get a little irritated at our your just favorite person in the entire universe, and
mhm,
yet, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But it's fine. But it's good though that you're having this progression, even if it wasn't something that other people could really see, because a lot of this stuff is internal.
mhm,
Like you said, you get mad at the young people at work, but you don't show them. You don't
no,
let it out, or hopefully you don't let it out.
no,
So you're doing that, even if it's less and less that you're feeling it and no one else is seeing it, right? That's
yeah,
still a huge step in the right direction. And with your
yeah,
hormones kind of leveling out to where they should be, that sounds like that's all working together to make everything easier, at
yeah.
least more, maybe not easier, but less,
Less
problematic,
exhausting
exhausting. Yeah.
because when you are um riding the roller coaster of emotions, you have to work harder to keep everything uh, socially appropriate
Hmm.
and maintain that high level of achievement that I'm so used to presenting at work and keeping that
Hmm.
mask on. Um, Therefore, when I come home, I am able to interact with my kids and my husband and the dog and give them more of my time and energy and the heart that I truly do have for them.
Hmm.
Uh, but I haven't wasted it on keeping everything presentable.
Right.
And I don't have to then come home and break instantly.
Hmm.
I'm not a glass vase that is just a touch away from falling over and shattering.
Hmm.
Rather, I'm much more sturdy.
Right. And I think we all understand, especially if you're talking to at-home parents like we are, the I need to keep this level of sanity throughout my
Hmm.
day. I just got to keep it right here. I cannot go up here because I'm just going to lose. I can ride at a 6 all day long. My kids push me to a 7 or an 8, and you might not be getting dinner. You
Hmm.
have that, you're exhausted by the end of the day. I used to joke that, and I don't really drink that much, but I used to drink that at about 2:30, 3 o'clock, the kids start getting home and everything. I'm like, okay, so I just have to, is this an alcohol kind of moment or is this a caffeine kind of moment? What do I want to do this afternoon? Because I
Yeah,
may have to wire myself up to get these kids to bedtime, or I might have to dumb myself down because I'm already at a 9 of 10. And there's no chance, even on the best days, my kids aren't going to come home from school and somehow add to that pile, right?
absolutely.
So keeping yourself in check and good all day long, and then coming to the place where someone that works, remotely or even outside the home, coming home, and that's your place to relax. That's your place to de-stress. That's your place to not make a million decisions like you've been
Hmm.
doing probably all day long.
All
You
day.
get that, decision fatigue. You're like, no, no, I don't care. And I think we get that
Hmm.
again. I'm tired. What cup do you use? I don't care what. Just pick a cup and get some water. I'm not doing this, right. It's a different thing, but you do make so many decisions throughout the day and so many things that just center on you. And at the end of that day, whatever that might be, and I mean, for like me and
Uh,
Rock, it's like 18 years before you get your day off. But you have that time that you need to de-stress. So being able to have more energy at the end of that day because you're not exhausted from all those things or as
yeah,
exhausted,
yeah.
got to be an amazing relief for you.
it is. And parents and working, leading uh, women, especially, can really identify with this in that I'm not only making decisions for me at work, I'm answering questions constantly at work. So I have 20 people that I'm responsible for. And then I have my peers that I'm working with. And uh, we have work streams or side of the desk work that we're asked to contribute to as well. And so it's, do you have this? Can I get this? What about this? And that that question fatigue is
Hmm.
beyond real. And I've said this to Brock so many times. I'm like, can you just please, I don't want any more control. Like I I just tell me what to do and I will do it.
Hmm.
I don't have any more answers. I don't know what you want. Like ask me a yes or no question and I will tell you. But
Hmm.
if you want me to think through something, I got nothing.
Yeah.
Is that right, babe?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think too, just that even goes as far as like I know having conversations with guys in the dad lounge, like when talking about like your sex life and stuff, like that's another side of it as well. Like being able to, you know, like yes, I want to be intimate with you, but like my brain is so just like all over the place. I don't even know where to begin. Like, can you be the person that like leads us into this time? I think is another aspect of realization in a relationship is that sometimes like you kind of have to take that role on and that's I think that and communicate like our communication has been a huge step in the right direction because that's something that wasn't really taught to us like we learned it so it
Hmm.
being able to pass that on to other couples to be able to understand that is super helpful especially in the situation like with just everything going on with your body like you're sometimes you're just exhausted but yet at the same time too like you're wanting to connect and so to be able to do that it's almost like giving up a like little sense of like I've led all day like
Hmm.
you be the leader on the side and it's not even so much like a thing of like all right like yeah I get it like you know
It's not a
all that
dominance
it's
thing.
it's not a dominance thing at all and that's the other part that I think sometimes people are like oh like you're telling him like you tell me what to do and I can we'll do it or whatever and it's like yeah like there's barriers and there's like comfort levels and all these other things that have to be talked about and brought into it, but it makes the relationship that much more just a I don't know, just makes it that much more of a more conducive situation to have a positive outcome. So I was gonna say too, like just you were talking about where you don't have the so much like the spontaneity with the dragon side of things and that
Hmm.
sort of deal. Like um there are times like not so much well like I said the dragon but what it is like there are times where you're like all right like I'm off my yam cream I'm off of this like like for a
Ah,
short period
yes,
of time
cycles.
and it's like I have to be like as soon as you say that like there's a whole nother switch that clicks in my brain I'm like okay like batten down the hatches tie up the mooring ropes get everything tightened up. We're going in for it. Here comes the swell. You know,
Where's the chocolate?
bring out the chocolate
Right.
bunny for sacrifice.
Got you a
Um,
blanket and some chocolate and some tea. And what else? You
yes,
tell me. I'll go
yes.
get it. Yeah.
I need a burger and fries.
Right.
Get the comfy
Um,
couch and get the child with the fan by her now.
yes, absolutely. So thank you for bringing that up, Brock, because so part of what makes me who I am is that I have chronic migraines and I have since I was 9. Um, and then I have a medication that I take once a month for that. So I give you that context to help understand part of the cycle of a woman is that in a month when ideally I am off my yam cream when my period starts and that hormone cycle comes together appropriately. That doesn't always happen because bodies do things, stress triggers things, and I sometimes it is too hard to align the yam cream with the period, and it is better to be 3 weeks on the yam cream and 1 week off. Ideally, you're off the yam cream when you are on your period. My body does weird things, and it was too stressful to align it. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to stick with the rhythm. And eventually it did align.
Hmm.
Um, the super frustrating part and really hard part for me in particular is when the third piece comes into play and I am due for my migraine shot.
Hmm.
So a when that happens, the my body needs the medication to balance the brain chemistry, and my period also triggers a migraine for me. So I'm not only physically feeling awful because I'm on my period, I'm physically feeling awful because I have a migraine. I am
Hmm.
really low energy because I feel like trash from both of those events. I can't emotionally regulate as well as I normally do during the rest of the month. And it's usually on a week when I'm supposed to be physically in the office as opposed to at home. Perfect storm.
Hmm.
And I communicate this to Brock so that he is aware and he knows, hey, Corey's not going to be as patient. She's not going to be as tolerable. She's not going to be as high energy this week. And she's got to still maintain all of her performance items at work.
Right.
Yes,
So
when the kids come home, I'm like, here's the duct tape. If you're gonna say something stupid, put this on first. No, I'm just kidding.
no, but that context is so helpful to get the support that I need
Hmm.
and hopefully mitigate any like drop down drag out fights. We don't actually do those like physical fights, but like the verbal
Hmm.
fights and miscommunications and hey, this is why I'm a little bit touchier right now. And my fusing is incredibly short this week. Does it make my reactions and my emotional responses justified? Absolutely not. I don't get a pass for that. It helps him understand.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
too, though, going back to sort of like when you first came on last year, communication, I think was one of the things that we talked about, just like how you communicate with me what's going on because I don't know until you tell me, and I
Mhm.
think that's one of the things in a lot of relationships where it's like I don't have ESP. Like if you don't tell me what's going on, like I don't know. And if I'm asking questions and that's annoying you, well then like that's not on me. That's on you for not telling me about it. But as a spouse, like it's like I'm obviously concerned, so like I want to know what I can do in this situation. So yeah, the communication definitely has gotten even more than what it was previously. Not that it was not existent, it was there. It's just now there's like more details to it, more understanding of what's going on. And it's still something that's, kind of, they're still developing things that are being learned. And like we have these conversations, which also, too, like adds to just being able to sit down and just being able to talk to you and have conversations about that outside of other like just the kids and whatnot, which I think is another thing too, like in parenthood, like it's always about the kids until they're gone kind of deal. And it's like there has to be a way to defer off of that track and have conversations about our adult lives and what we're
Yeah.
going through. Because if you're just constantly on this track of kids, 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 like when they're gone and then you try to have a conversation, it's going to be really just, it's going to be bumpy and you're not know where to really, how to get on that track. So I, that's one of the things that's been just a huge level of our marriage that I really appreciate because there are so many that don't have that. Um,
Right.
so that's
Right.
that's a big part of it.
And
I
for
was gonna,
anyone that
yeah, go
doesn't
ahead.
have that open, honest communication, I mean, it's to start mid game basically is difficult. Like if you're married 3, 5 years and you've never really had that open communication, it's going to be difficult. You're going to
Mhm.
run into some issues about, you being embarrassed or even being, your partner making fun of you or who knows what. A lot of judgment can happen. But the reality of it is that open and honest communication is the foundation of any good relationship. It doesn't have to be marriage. It could just be your best friend. It could be, it could be your medical doctor. It could be the guy on the bus that you met. Understanding that, hey, these are my boundaries and this is as far as I really want to go. I'm uncomfortable over here, is amazing. But if you look at, like, if people don't have that open communication and that's not working for you yet, and you fight a lot, I've found that looking back, if you had openly and honestly communicated where you're at mentally and emotionally, and you said things like Corie, like you said, hey, this coming into this week or this day or this year, this is where I'm at and this is what's going on. And again, it doesn't excuse, it doesn't allow for, hey, look, I'm in a bad place, things are all going crazy, so I'm going to be just a jackass all day, and you have to take it. That's not what we're saying, obviously, and you
No,
mentioned that. But that understanding that all of those fights that you had could have been nothing, could have been
Yeah,
simply, you looking at your partner and going, "Oh yeah, that's right. I have a toothache. My tooth is aching, and it's making me grumpy, and I've got to wait to go to the dentist for 3 days because I don't have an appointment, and all that frustration, whatever that reason might be, and more importantly, things that are now a part of your life, like perimenopause, is now a part of who you are.
yep,
It's a part of your story, which is actually, I think, very beneficial for a lot of people, because they know, yeah, okay, that's what's happening to me. Now I got it. Now I can actually find a doctor who believes in perimenopause, right? And move
hmm
on from there.
well, and
But
that's a whole nother thing that you're touching on there
yes, it
because
is.
that's where
yeah,
Corey and I are in this whole situation because especially her with the fact that she's trying to find a doctor that's in our network that actually has any sort of understanding and doesn't want to immediately be like, "Oh no, you don't have any of that stuff." And it's like, "You're an idiot, doctor. Like what the heck? Like how do you not see this? Like one, go on TikTok. There's so many people talking about it, and you're saying, no, no, that's not possible. Which then, like, she and dealing or listening to her frustrations with it. And I just want to basically drive to like every hospital and just start putting doctors in headlocks and being like, you bunch of
I love
morons.
you. I love you so much, my dear. Um, so I mentioned that I had my annual gynecological visits, and this is the doctor that I have been with who delivered both of our babies, who took care of my body after our miscarriage and that surgery. And for those who have experienced miscarriage in a DNC, I empathize with you. It is not fun, and you are a mother regardless if you have any more babies or not. Um, and that was our first child, by the way. I will acknowledge that. And it is, yep, it's a process. Um, so this doctor has been with us for 13 years, 14, nope, 2010. So a long time, a very
Mhm.
long time. Um, she has been a practicing gynecological OB/GYN for 40 years, and I saw her this year. And I'm explaining all of my symptoms. I'm explaining what's been happening in our lives and uh, telling her about perimenopause and my non-functional medicine doc who's helping me through this. And she's like, "Well, how do you know you're in peri?" And I told her, and she's like, "Well, it it sounds like I have not had a missed period yet. However, my period is changing. I am the only expert of my body, no one
Hmm.
else." Um, and she says to me, "It sounds like you're being targeted on social media." And I thought,
What?
you've just gaslighted me, Doc. Huh.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
understand that. I
See, now
Also,
you
you've
understand
been
the stupidity that we're talking about
yeah,
here. It's
yeah.
crazy.
practicing this for 40 years and you are the expert. This is also the doctor who said, I don't deal with hormones because that's not my department. And because I was asking her for help last year at my annual exam. And she told me at the end of that visit she's retiring. And I'm like, congratulations. Thank you for all of the help. In that moment, it was slightly sad, but I get it. She deserves to retire. So I'm getting a new gynecological doctor. Um, Bittersweet because she's helped me so much, right?
Hmm.
And the more I thought about that comment afterwards, the more I'm like, actually, this is going to be a really good thing for me
Hmm.
because she didn't hear me in that moment
Right.
and she gaslit me. And this is the second year she's gaslit me on this topic. The other thing about women's bodies that these doctors are not considering and thinking about is that it took years for my body to prepare to be able to produce a human being.
Hmm.
Why would it not take years for my body to shut the factory down? And those symptoms of that process are going to look slightly different, woman to woman, and they're not all going to start with, "Oh, you've missed a period and you're now no longer
Right.
consistent."
Right.
The other frustration that I have experienced is that I went to my primary care physician and I asked for a referral. And I said, "Hey, I'm dealing with perimenopause. As much as I love my non-functional medicine doctor, I'd actually like a doctor that's covered by my insurance so that I can channel some of my HSA funds into some of the other crazy expensive things that we've been dealing with medically with our son and um, make different medical choices than I have been." And he said, "Okay, here's some here's an endocrinologist recommendation because they deal with hormones, right? Like
Hmm.
that makes
Yeah.
sense to me. Cool. Thanks, Doc. Appreciate it." So I contact them. And number one, I've seen an endocrinologist in the past. They did blood work. They said, "Your blood work is normal." And I said, "In the normal range, sure, but my hormones are not normal."
Hmm.
The other thing I said is I don't want to see that endocrinologist again, which means that since I've seen them in the past 2 years, I have to be put on a wait list or request to see a different one within the group.
Yeah.
Some of them are not taking new patients, others don't treat perimenopause. And I sent a message back to my PCP and I explained the situation. He, I love my PCP. I'm not changing him. However, his response back was, it is one of the things that is considered a normal experience, and many doctors don't treat it. And I thought, um, half of the population in the world is women, and we're experiencing these symptoms,
Hmm.
and we feel crazy, and y'all are telling us that we can't get help, or you're just treating it like depression or anxiety, which, by the way, are parts of perimenopause, but they're not the root cause.
Hmm. Yeah,
It's
simply
actually the
symptoms.
hormones.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that also too, it's interesting that like a lot of the doctors are pretty much like just not not even like considering it. Like it's and also too, I mean, if you think about it, TikTok's only been around for a short period of time, and like that's where the first kind of like platform has come out and actually started publicly talking about perimenopause. Like I know like the Holderness family, like they've actually like probably one of the
Yeah.
most famous influencer families out there, has brought it up and addressed it or whatever. And so there are people that are trying to get the word out there. But yeah, it's very interesting that good doctors are they haven't been taught it. They didn't teach it in med school, and they might only be
Right.
getting to go to conferences every so often because they're busy. But still, like it's not really something that's getting out there into the medical community. And then for patients to come in and talk about it, they treat it almost as if like they said, like, oh, you're being targeted by social media, which I that right there like floored me. Like talk like
Right.
when she told me that statement, I was like, what? Like
What? Yeah. Where are you coming from, Doc? What are you talking about? Seriously.
it yeah, it's almost
Just
like a like, oh, like you talk to a snake oil salesperson, like you don't need to believe. It's like, no, that's not what this is at all.
yeah.
Like just to completely throw that out. It's like, how have you not, like the other part of it too is like, I'm like, how have you not heard about this? Like, and how do you just blatantly state like, oh, like yeah, that's not something like that's not, we don't
Remember,
we don't condone that.
she's been a doctor for 40 years. I
Right.
am 40. She started practicing medicine in 1985. So for her generation to understand this and really communicate, and it's a different experience.
True. Yeah.
It's
And
very vastly different than today's generation, and
hmm
she experienced something far different. And I'm not mad at her at all. I love the response? Absolutely not. But I'm not mad. I understand her context, and it sucked. I wish her well.
hmm
Yeah.
and you reach a point where you grow beyond anybody, your teachers and all that type of thing. People that'll bring you and give you everything they need up until a point where you need more, and then you go find somebody else. I mean, that's just
Yeah,
kind of the way it is. And I think reality of how little concern we put into women's health care overall,
yeah,
relatively speaking. And there are a lot of, I mean, there are women doctors who grew up thinking, no, that's just, you just need to deal with this. This is a thing you're going to deal with it. It doesn't matter. You don't get painkillers for your menstrual cramps. You just need to suffer through it like the rest of us did. And while they
yeah.
may not say that out loud, that entire patriarchal mindset of all the doctors that they ever worked with. And it's an ongoing thing. And again, like many things we run into, especially when we talk about mental health, it's that new generation understanding a little more, a new generation, a little more and a little more and a little more, to where you eventually get doctors who, no matter how well meaning and how wonderful they are, just need to retire. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's great. You're amazing. I love you, but you can't deal with what reality is right now. And I think
Hmm.
that's just generational. I mean, you lose your neuroplasticity. It starts in your 50s. So keep reading books.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
you lose that ability to really accept new ideas easily. And we call it set in their ways. Yeah, and they are. And then I get out of it. But the reality too is that we have young doctors who are still taught. No, perimenopause isn't a thing.
Yeah.
It obviously is what what
That's because they're being taught by old doctors
right.
as well, because
Hmm.
that's how the whole teaching health world works.
I kid you not. I had a doctor when I was probably 8 or 9. Said I had a dentist said I had very strong teeth, and I'm like, yeah. My mom said it's something about the fluoride, and he said, no, I have no belief that some chemical that they put that your mom drank when she was pregnant with you gave you strong teeth. That's ridiculous. And I mean, I, I didn't know any better. Like I said, I was 8. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. Just fix my teeth and don't hurt me. Which, by the way, they always hurt you. They always hurt you when you were
Always.
back in those days. Now they have painless. But anyway, but the reality of dealing with doctors who are taught that these things don't exist and finding those who have the ability to learn and to listen, and to look at someone and say, this person's coming to me and they need help. They're suffering, and not coloring it with that corporate pharmaceuticals, big pharma idea of they just want more pills. They just want more pills. They're addicts probably. That's the
That's
problem. They don't
that's
really
the
hurt.
furthest thing that
Yeah.
I want.
Right.
That's the last thing
Right.
that I want.
Could I take less pills?
Actually,
That'd be great.
yeah.
Hmm.
Can I get a homeopathic remedy
Hmm.
actually? Because that's my body wasn't created for all of the chemical substances that our country pushes at people. The wild yam cream is not a chemical substance. It's actually created from an herb and a root. Like that
Hmm.
helps balance the progesterone and the estrogen in my body. And I don't get it from a pharmacy
Hmm.
Yeah.
at all. And I heard about it from a woman in Australia who is a very homeopathic healer. Um, so, and I was hearing about that before I ever started using it and purchased it here in the States. Um, I'm not one to jump on the bandwagon and do something just because I'm hearing about it. I very diligently wait and research and look into things and listen and ask questions. You were talking about plasticity, Danny, and ask questions. The older we get, the more questions we should be asking and listening to the answers and saying, that doesn't necessarily make sense to me. What else? The the research um, that I heard in a training for work from a Northern Kentucky University professor says that kids ask so many questions through elementary school, and as they get older, by high school, they're asking one question a day. And that to me is sad. But really, we should be asking so many more questions every single day, whether that's why are we using this particular laundry soap? Is there a better one? Um, why is it that we bag the clippings instead of mulching them? Would it be better to
Hmm.
mulch them as we're mowing the lawn? I don't know. Ask a million more questions and see what else is out there. Why does this bug do that thing? I don't know. Let's find out. The more we ask questions, the better off it's going to be for our brains, and the longer we're going to retain our mental elasticity, and the healthier we're going to be mentally.
Hmm.
Physically, we may not be as healthy, but that's how we're going to live long enough to challenge our grandkids and maybe great grandkids in a mental battle. Um, but going back to this perimenopause topic, um, I'm getting a new gynecological doctor in the same practice, but I don't know. I've met with this doctor before when we were in the baby business, now retired from that one. Um, I don't
Sure.
remember her beliefs. I don't remember where she's at in things. I won't see her for another year. And you know what? That's okay. And if she doesn't talk to me about perimenopause or is not in the same realm, I'm not going to waste time with her. I'll schedule with a different doctor. And this cycle will continue, pun intended. Um,
Boom
the
tish.
yes, the encouragement that I have for the dads, don't give up when your partner, your wife, your spouse is in this process, when she's feeling horrible. Um, encourage her with the things that she enjoys, encourage her with a hug, encourage her with just some time alone, whatever she needs, ask her what she needs.
Hmm.
Um, ask her how she's feeling in this process. Notice her emotions, and there's some grief that ties along to this as well. And it's grief of the younger self, it's grief of knowing what's coming and that I will one day not be able to produce humans. Um, not that I want to, that's a big responsibility. Um,
Yeah, but it's a part of your identity up to this point. It's part of who you are, and you're being unable to do that.
yeah,
It's I can understand why it would cause you grief. You're losing something that's very vital to, well, to everyone really, and very vital
yeah,
to you and your family and a bit of your identity in a way. That's not who you are completely. It's not the only thing you are, but it
no,
is a big part of it.
yeah. And have conversations, not necessarily when she's at the low, but on the really good days, just gently bring it up and say, hey, how can I support you in this? What can I do? Um, when you're having a bad day, can you tell me? Or when you know that you're gonna cycle, can you warn me so I can be prepared? Um, and I can gather those things that you need.
And just for all of the dads out there who are probably planners, right? You guys will be prepared. That's why we wear cargo shorts. I understand. There are apps for that.
There are.
If you can't figure it out in your brain or keep it in the calendar, there are apps that literally that's what they do. Don't put anybody's name in it because that data could be used for something difficult later. But yeah, that this is when it started, this is when it goes. And while every woman is different, the majority of women are going to have some regularity to it. So just be prepared. I don't have, and I'm not blowing my own horn on this, but I realized with my first wife that you need to get things ready. You need to be prepared for this. And she was great, but I always knew that she would have a more difficult time. And the fact that from what I've heard that menstrual cramps are as painful or more painful than kidney stones. Like, which would you rather have? And I'm like, what? And I've never had a kidney stone, and please don't ever give me a kidney stone. I don't need it. I don't need that for the empathy of other people. I get it. That hurts. But the realization that you do that every month.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to have whatever, whatever that might be, again, for, Each person is different, but a warm blanket, a water bottle, a hot water bottle, it is chocolate, tea, whatever it is. Just understand this is going to be a difficult
So hard.
2, 3 days. Who knows?
Week.
Definitely.
Yeah, you just get ready, and once you figure out that schedule, seriously, write it down, get the app, be
Uh,
prepared.
your daughters
Hmm.
are gonna do this too,
Yep,
and
it's coming.
they might need you more than your wife or
Hmm.
spouse. Um, so one tool that my beloved husband purchased for me, and I will leave this as my last tip, is unexpectedly, I did not ask for this, is that it's a rechargeable heating pad that kind of looks like a fanny pack or a hip pack. Um, and it has a heat setting, but it also has a vibration setting. And when my cramps are horrible, that is one of the best things ever. Um, so thank you so much for letting me share my update, and I feel better. I really do. It is going better. There's still so many struggles and frustrations, but for any ladies who might be listening, um, be persistent. Keep looking for the doctor who will listen and advocate and help you along the journey. For the gentleman, um, ask her what she needs.
Yeah, definitely. We really appreciate you coming on. I do want to also put out there because I know that we didn't really talk about this, but um, Keith Nagel, for those who don't know, president of the National At Home Dad Network, came up to me last year in St. Louis at Home Dad Con and had brought up the idea of having you come in and talk, of course. And we've
Hmm.
been talking with him on different things. And I know that the planning committee has been working diligently to find a doctor locally that would come in and be a part of Home Dad Con this year, which I believe that they're in the process of that. I don't know exactly where that is, but um,
They're
if
closer.
everything, yeah, we've been asked to come down, like especially Corey especially has been asked to come down and present about this, and I think too, like it'll be
Which
good for the
I'm super excited and want to do and love the idea.
yeah. And but with medical stuff going on right now, especially my
Hmm.
mom, who was going to be the person who would be watching the kids while we were out, we're kind of in a moment where we're like trying to pivot on some things. So we're definitely working on making it happen. That's why also too nothing's been publicly put out there as like an announcement that we're gonna be like that Corey's gonna be there to talk about it, that kind of thing. Um, so that's on the horizon. The hope is that everything will work out and you know Corey gets to come down and present and share with the guys and just have that time and also to get to meet this doctor that they're talking with, which I'm super appreciative of the fact that there's a doctor that wants to come in and talk about this because as we've spoken about, like sometimes that's not the most easy thing to find. So
Yeah, not at
uh,
all.
The planning committee is going through what some of these women go through, what I'm going through. So I appreciate their struggle and willingness to fight through it.
yeah. So I just wanted to put that out there too, that's because I know that we've had guys like especially in the dad lounge ask like, she would be great to have come to Home Dad Con. Is that gonna happen? And like, it's like, well, there's things in the works and all these pieces have to fall into
Right.
play. So yeah, so kind of just to give a little more light at the end of the tunnel for that, we're there's definitely a plan being made out. We just hopefully everything falls into place. But
Hopefully.
um yeah. But Corey, thank you so much for giving your time to talk with us and just be vulnerable and share just what's going on. I know me personally, living here with you, gotten to experience a lot of firsthand stuff, and I appreciate the fact that you're open to be able to come on and talk to others about it.
Yep. Truly appreciate it.
Thanks for letting me share, Danny and best friend. I love you.
Love you too. All right. With that, we will talk to you all next week. Until then, have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.